Hindi kinuha. So,
All
nagamit
sorts
ko
of
ngayon ka na.
vehicles on the same street. You know, some of them probably can go fast, some of them are really slow. Big ones, small ones, it doesn't matter. Everyone is on the same street, so everybody goes at a slow pace, or sometimes they just don't move at all. This is a 2.4 gigahertz situation. But then imagine you've got all that crowding 2.4 street, and let's say you've got a skyway which has more lanes, and it's able to take faster devices. That is what the 5 gigahertz spectrum is all about. 5 gigahertz has more channels, it has more bandwidth, it's a lot cleaner. It's not used by microwaves and other devices. So you can actually put a lot more devices on that channel, and then you get better Wi-Fi signal. Now, just to let you know, this is super important, 5 gigahertz. If any of you has an iPhone 5 or later, it's already wireless AC and 5 gigahertz ready. If you've got a Samsung 5 or later, it's also 5 gigahertz ready. So today, if you actually stay with the router provided by your service provider and you put your iPhone 6 on that router, you're actually not using your phone to the full capability. And then if the streaming is not good, you're actually wondering what's going on. But the problem is, it's like taking a really fast car and driving in that really crowded street and trying to get from one point to another at the full capability of the car. You will never get it. So 5 gigahertz is really, really important therefore. So if you remember, earlier we had some raffles and there were range extenders and a router given away. And they were actually called N600 dual band. Basically, that is what they mean, dual band. It has both the 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. So your latest gadgets can all operate on that 5 gigahertz. Now, that's pretty cool, right? Which means now at least you know you can go back and check whether your router has a 5 gigahertz, and you can put all your smartphones and smart devices on the 5 gigahertz. Now imagine if you had two of those 5 gigahertz skyways. Let's say one was dedicated for really fast cars and another one for the slow cars. That is what tri-band is all about. Dual band is 2 bands and tri-band is basically 3 bands. So it's one 2.4 gigahertz band and two 5 gigahertz bands. Now, the product that we talked about earlier, the Linksys router, is a tri-band router. It gives you not only the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, but also two 5 gigahertz spectrums. So just imagine the kind of power and capability that you can get out of that product. So I've got a little video here about the 5 gigahertz and the tri-band. Let me play that.
Meron kang bang mga NAS sa bahay?
NAS?
Yung network attached storage, tapos ina-access mo siya sa bahay, wipe,
Pero binigyan ako ng review unit, sinali.
Ni Western Digital. Alin yung yung dual, yung dalawang butas. Ako may binili akong sikit, kaya parang palpak, hindi ko maasikaso.
I think we need to go Wi-Fi 80s.
Wireless.
Using a Linksys router. Because we have now more cable.
Yun nga sana tatanong ko kung maiksi yung cable mo.
I think I'm going to skip the video because it's. You probably saw that video earlier. It was actually playing, when we were starting the session. It's basically just an introduction about tri-band. But let me try to just summarize it for you. What tri-band really does is it really gives you an extra 5 gigahertz frequency, and there's a little bit of text here, which was the most important part of the presentation, so let me just talk about it. Now, tri-band is a technology that anybody can make a router with. What makes the Linksys tri-band router unique is that we have a technology called Smart Connect. So let me explain for you what it is. So as I mentioned, 5 gigahertz can take all the new devices. One lane for fast and another lane for slow. But take the example of the kid getting a call and walking away. When the device walks away, the router knows exactly where the device is moving to. It can very quickly move it from one 5 gigahertz to another 5 gigahertz band without breaking the communication. That is a very unique capability of the Linksys router. That's what makes the Linksys tri-band router very powerful. So which means you can move around in your home, you can roam around freely, you can do whatever you want, all your smart devices are happy, and the router will take care of it. You don't have to worry about switching from one band to another band. That's a very, very powerful capability. So that was actually what was in the video, but I think I can explain that in that way. So the second challenge that I talked about, I don't have wireless network in my backyard or bedroom or second floor. Very common problem. Range extender is the solution for that problem. Let me explain for you what it is. Okay, you can't see the product again, no worries. Dead zone. Dead zone is a terminology that you will start to see a lot more, especially in retail, etc. Dead zone basically means a zone in your home where there is no Wi-Fi signal or probably very weak Wi-Fi signal. And you basically want to amplify your wireless signal in that zone. So as an example, a bedroom. A range extender or a repeater is a great product for that. Now, typical questions that people ask. Will it work with my router? You know, because sometimes people think, oh, you know, I bought the router from brand X, therefore I can only use a range extender from brand X. No, I will talk about it in a second. And how do I know where to set it up? So let's say you don't have wireless network, wireless signal in your bedroom. So you went to the store, you bought a range extender, you came to the bedroom, you plugged it to the wall socket. Do you think it's going to work? No way, because there was no signal in the first place. Right? So the range extender can't even pick up the signal. But as a consumer, we do not know where is the best place to hook it up. And lastly, well, I bought the range extender, is it going to give me the full bandwidth that I actually am getting otherwise from the router? So these are all common questions. Linksys actually solves all of these problems in a very simple way. First of all, our range extenders work with any router. So even if it's a router that is given by your service provider and it came from mainland China, it doesn't matter. The range extender will work with that router. It will create the same wireless network name. So can you imagine, you have a router, you called it My Home Wi-Fi, and then you bought a range extender and it created another new wireless network. So when you walk from the living room to the bedroom, you have to change, go to the settings in your phone and change to a new wireless network. I mean, that is not how you want to roam around in your own home. So our range extenders can very easily keep the same wireless network name. Very powerful, simple but powerful, very intuitive for a consumer. Another capability called Spot Finder, I'll talk about it in a second. As I said, I don't know where to hook up the range extender. Very easy, we have an easy way to solve it. And lastly, a technology called crossband, which is available in our dual band range extenders. So the one that your friends just won in the raffle, crossband gives you the full bandwidth that your router is delivering to you. But let me spend a few minutes on the Spot Finder. When you get a Linksys range extender with a Spot Finder, you can set it up with your mobile phone. And during the setup, let's say you plug it on a wall socket, you turn on your mobile phone, and you open up the setting and you can see whether the extender is too close to the router or is it too far away from the router. And you can simply unplug it, plug it in another location until it tells you, oh, this is the really good spot. That's why we call it a Spot Finder. So it really takes away the confusion from the consumer. You don't have to really worry about, do I have furniture between the extender and the router, how many walls, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. Just use the setup. It will really tell you how easy it is to find the right spot to put the range extender. And setting up the range extender is also very simple. These days, nobody wants to turn on the PC and do the full setup. It's very easy if you could do it from your mobile phone. So we have the application that lets you set it up from your mobile phone and works both for iPhone as well as your Android platform. Very simple. It just you turn it on, it will basically list down all the wireless networks in your vicinity. You just need to tell it which is your wireless network. Just enter the password so it knows that this is indeed your network and not your neighbor's network, and you're done. Your range extender is configured. So as I mentioned earlier, wireless technology need not be complicated. It can be very simple. And our job is to make it so simple that customers can just set it up and don't worry about it anymore. It should be as simple as that. Now the last part is, how do you manage all this? So you've got a good router, let's say you've got a tri-band router, you've got a range extender that is in your bedroom, so now you can listen to your music and do whatever you want. But how do you manage this network? How do you know who is on the network? How do you make sure that your kids are not visiting, odd, weird websites when you're not around? Or how do you make sure that the kids are not browsing when they should be doing their homework? This is something really important. Or even better, let's say all of your friends came home. How do you give them access to the internet without them snooping around in your wireless network? There's so many things that you can actually do with your wireless network. Today, we don't look at it because we're kind of looking at wireless as like a black box, right? It's kind of scary, it's very techie, geeky. So we have really simplified it, but at the same time, without losing the power. So let me ask you this. We all go and purchase our latest smartphones, right? We know that the hardware is pretty comparable in most cases. You've got a pretty powerful processor, a certain amount of memory, we kind of know that. But what really makes the phone unique and powerful is the software. And that is exactly the same thing with routers. Especially in the world of IoT or Internet of Things, it's not the hardware that really gives you the full capability and power, it's the software. We in Linksys, we've invested a lot on the software side. Back in 2009, we acquired a company. We paid $290 million US buying this company, which has all the intellectual property that lets us do cloud-based network management. What does cloud-based network management mean in layman terms? Let's say you're stuck in traffic, which is a normal reality for most of us in this part of the world. You can't get home on time, but you know that your kid is going to, probably spend time on the tablet or smartphone watching videos. You want to turn off access to internet on that device. You can do that from while driving in the car. Or for me, I'm right now here in Manila. I live in Singapore. If I want to create a new guest network at home so that my friends can come and access the internet, I can do it right now from my mobile phone. That is the power of smart Wi-Fi, because we have that cloud infrastructure. Now, let me show you a little bit more detail about what you can do. And hopefully we can see all of it on the screen. First of all, this is the dashboard called Smart Wi-Fi. So if you go to Linksys Smart Router, this is the interface you can get as soon as you log into your browser and simply type linksysmartwifi.com. So the things you can do, network map. It really tells you in a very visual way who's on your network. Now, let me ask you this. Do you even know how many devices you have at home that are on your wireless network? How many of you can really count right now and know immediately that I've got, 6, 7 devices in my home on my network? Okay, but do you know how many maybe neighbors or somebody else is actually snooping into the network? Probably you've got a pretty secure password so people really don't snoop into it. But typically what we see is almost 60% of the people who get a router from the service provider, they never change that password. It's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 0 or something like that, right? And then typically people just try their luck, and if they see a pretty strong wireless signal, they just type it in. If it works, then they're just hooked on that forever. As a consumer, you really don't know that at all, because you're never looking at the router, seeing how many other devices are on the network, and you're complaining or worrying why you don't have enough wireless network. So network map allows you to see that. Who is on your network? What are they doing? Guest access. Create a new wireless network for your guests, so you don't have to give your password to your guests when they come home. This is typically useful when you've got friends coming over and you're probably doing online gaming or something like that. Parental controls, as I explained. Keep your kids safe online. Keeping your kids safe online is even more important than elsewhere. It's so important because the kind of things, the kind of news that we read, and the things that are happening in the online world. Media prioritization, which is another word for quality of service. You can decide which device gets the most bandwidth. So let's say you've got a smart TV, but your kid is actually using BitTorrent and eating all your bandwidth. You can really change that. You can set your priorities to your TV so you get the right bandwidth and you can watch your shows. External storage. These days, most of us have own creator content. We're in the selfie, leafy world. We make videos, wherever we go. All of us have been taking pictures, when the snake was here, everybody was up taking pictures, right? So these are all memories, and we are probably going to keep it somewhere, either in a PC or in an external hard disk. At some point in time, you would probably want to share that and stream that at home. Let's say you've got a video and you want to watch it again. You can do that with the wireless network very easily. But how to do that in a very simple way? Linksys routers help you do that because we've got a USB port, you plug the hard disk, and immediately you can stream it to any of the smart devices in your home, provided your network is really good, right? So again, one of the reasons why it's so important to get a really good performing wireless router. And lastly, everything else you need for setting up and configuring your router. So let me just show you visually how it looks like. A network map typically looks like this. It will show you all the devices in your network. It will show you whether they are all on 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. So this is a great way to find out if all your iPhones and your smart tablets and everything are sitting on the 2.4 gigahertz. Good time to switch them to the 5 gigahertz, especially the ones who won the routers today as the raffle gift, right? So you can immediately go home and try and test it. It's really useful. Another one, parental controls, as I explained. You could really select, you can block access to a certain device. You could even set specific websites that you want to block access to. So if you do not want your kids to access YouTube, you can specifically say no YouTube on that particular device. You can even set specific times. So between 5 and 7, if that is the kids' homework time, you can really disable internet access during that time. Because one thing's for certain, my brother's got a 12-year-old, and I've seen it. Trying to take a mobile phone or a tablet from his hand is like causing mutiny. They really hate it when you take it away. But on the contrary, if somehow they see that the network is not working, they seem to be more accepting that, oh, there is something wrong with the network. So it's a much, much easier way to manage, oh, you know what, this is how you're going to be grounded from this time to this time, no access to the internet at this time. So it's your homework time. It's a very easy thing to do. And guess what, you can do this even when you are not at your home. You can do this from your office. Why? Because that interface is available on our mobile app. This mobile app is downloadable, free from App Store or Google Play Store. It's a free application that comes together with our router. All you gotta do is just download it and associate your router to it, and you're done. You can do all those capabilities, parental controls, device map, everything managed directly from the application. Very, very powerful. So I want to conclude by just summarizing the things that we talked about. As I mentioned, there are 3 really core problems that customers face with Wi-Fi today. One is you can't seem to add more devices in the home. The more devices you bring in, the worse the wireless gets. We've got a solution for that. It's a dual band or a tri-band router. Easily solves that problem for you. Keep bringing all those devices into your home. They're really powerful. Takes all the problems away. Secondly, no range, no wireless coverage in your bedroom, no problem. Get a range extender. Very easy to set up. Don't have to worry about it. Easy to set up. Easy to manage and monitor. And 3, if you don't know how to manage your network, don't worry about it. You don't have to pay somebody to come and do it. Just get linked to smart Wi-Fi. It's as simple as that. So, in summary, again, from a brand perspective, we've been pioneering this for quite a while, 27 years, inventing the first home router, sold over 100 million routers, created the iconic WRT. As a matter of fact, we relaunched the WRT family about, I think, 11 months ago here in Manila. We had a really great event here in Manila where we launched the WRT 1900, and has been the top-selling router for us ever since. So customers really understand what we do as a company in a router world. Award-winning products, and that can only happen if you've got a great technology hardware together with the best software. So we use enterprise-grade, processing capability. Let me ask you this: when you go and buy a laptop, the things that you normally look for, what's the CPU, how much memory? But when it comes to a router, we never check that. We just go and buy whatever the service provider told us to buy, or whatever the store, the salesperson said, oh, this is good enough.
Or general
It's
dispatch.
really important to have a powerful processor in your router. Otherwise, you cannot do all that processing and heavy lifting, especially when your mobile phone is further away from it. And as a consumer, we don't know that. So our routers, especially the premium routers, all come with supercharged CPUs. So as an example, in a tri-band router like that, typically competitive products will have an 800 megahertz CPU. We've got a altogether 2.96 gigahertz of processing capability in that router. That's more than what you probably find in your mobile device. Why? Because the expectation for your wireless network is a lot. So you have to deliver that kind of hardware together with the best-in-class software. And lastly, we are really in a very good spot to position the router as the center of the connected home. And I leave this as a kind of a final note, because, and especially we were kind of talking about earlier at the break as well, right? Where Linksys is going to go with its roadmap, where Linksys is going to position as a brand with the products, is going to be right there in the center of the connected home. Because without a wireless network, without a robust wireless network, there is no connected home. So our responsibility is to offer that sort of robust wireless experience to every consumer, irrespective of whose broadband subscription they have, so that you don't have a problem connecting a device or an Internet of Things thing on that network. You got to rely on the wireless network to do its job, and that's what we are here to do. So, like I said, is your Wi-Fi cheating on you? Probably because you don't have a good router. So get rid of the router, get a really good wireless router that can take care of these problems. Then it's going to be really, it's not going to be infidel anymore. It's going to actually really show a lot more trust and reliance with you. So with that, I want to say thank you for all of you. I know it's been a really long day, a really long evening rather. Any questions I'm here to take, or even after at the break. Thank you very much.